Head on Sports Desk. The Argonauts head west, beat the Bombers, and continue to Vancouver. Matt Dunnigan and the Eskimos tame the hometown Lions, and the Bruins only scored once, but that's all they needed. Actions speak far louder than words. The rivalry between the Toronto Argonauts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers has grown so intense, so ugly over the past few weeks. Those teams met over the final 2 weeks of the regular season, and when they weren't punishing each other with bruising hits, they were yelling and screaming at each other. Well, the talk continued right into the Eastern Final. They met in Winnipeg, where the Bombers almost never lose and where Argo coach Bob Abilovich had never won. And the Argonauts decided not to get involved in the taunts and the antics. They said, we'll let our play speak for itself. Early on, this set the tempo of the game. First possession for Winnipeg. Watch Glenn Kalka put down Tom Clements very rudely. The Argonaut defense has come on the past month. Meanwhile, Gilbert Renfro started at quarterback. The Argo offense has not been that sharp, and they were not sharp early on. Renfro got good protection, but he underthrew Eugene Thomas. Roy Bennett picked it off. He had 13 during the regular season. Bennett gave the Winnipeg Blue Bombers good field position. They later got a 13-yard Trevor Kennard field goal. They led it 3-0. But here come the Argonauts' second quarter. Again, Renfro has time. The offensive line did a great job. Darrell Smith fingertip catch. He's not down. Now he is at the 1-yard line. That led to a Gilbert Renfro 1-yard sneak. The Argonauts led it 8-3 at the half. The key for the Argonauts was ball control. They ran, and then they went to the air. Darrell Smith in the third quarter brought this one down to the 20. That led to a Lance Chomick field goal, but they continued to eat up the clock, and Mike Riley knew his team was in trouble, trailing 12-3. Tom Clements went to the air. He was not effective. You saw him slipping and sliding. The Argonauts put heat on, and when he had time, he threw passes like that, right into the hands of Jake Vaughn, who was lying on the ground. The Argonauts got another turnover, brought the ball down to the 1. Tony Johns scored, and the Argonauts could celebrate. They knew they had this one. 19-3 they went ahead. That's the way it finished. The Argonauts, with one of their best defensive efforts in memory, totally shutting down the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and beating Winnipeg right at home to advance to the Grey Cup.
Oh, yeah, you know, we caught them in man coverage tonight, and, you know, that's what we were kind of hoping that they would do, play some man-to-man, because they feel that they have the best defensive secondary, you know, in the league, and, you know, we knew that they were going to go some man, and we caught them in some situations where we had key plays on that we would try to exploit that, and that's exactly what we did.
Gilbert showed a lot of poise out there for a game of this magnitude.
Oh, he sure did. The offensive line gave him plenty of time back there, and plus, he stood in the pocket when the pressure was on and delivered the ball to the open man, and he was delivering it right on time.
Bob, Darrell Smith says the little animals crept up on the beast of the east today. I guess that's quite true.
Well, our players were ready to play, and I felt that way all week, and we had a good game plan prepared for these guys, and I was really happy to see our players do their talking on the field, and that was the difference in the game.
So it's the Argonauts from the east. After dusting off the Bombers, they could put up their feet and relax and watch their opponents decided. The BC Lions were home to the Edmonton Eskimos in the Western Final. BC had home field advantage, but that's about all they had. They beat the Eskimos late in the year to take first place, but in that game, the Eskimos were far superior except on the scoreboard. So Edmonton entered this game just itching to prove that they were the better team. And from the first possession, they were the better team. Watch Matt Dunnigan's eyes. He looks right. Everything goes right. Everything goes right. But then he goes left. Dunnigan played this one perfectly. Well-executed play. Yeah, Brian Kelly wide open for the score. 7-0 for the Edmonton Eskimos. Here he goes deep to Stephon Jones. They figured they could beat Keith Gooch. Well, they didn't beat him until Jones takes the ball away. Seemed to be an interception, but that led to another score by Milson Jones, 14-3 for Edmonton. The Lions offense with Roy DeWalt moved the ball, but they couldn't punch it in the end zone. Here's the play of the day. Is this lovely or what? Matt Dunnigan lays it out. Stephon Jones runs under it. Just a great play. Beautiful play for the Eskimos. They led this one 21-7 at the half, and this one was a blowout. Here comes the defense. Stu Hill, top of your screen, runs over everybody and says, I should have been an all-star, and maybe he should have been an all-star. Fourth quarter now. More of the same for Edmonton. Drove it down to the 1. Then Milson Jones gets in easily. As a matter of fact, everything was easy. Edmonton made it look easy. It was. The final score, 31-7. Edmonton beating BC right in BC place. Obviously, BC disappointed.
Kind of forgot this feeling because I wasn't here last year. I was hurt last time we got wiped out by Edmonton in the Western Final, but I just didn't even think I felt so good going into the game. I thought we just had to put it together, we'd win, and still feel we're a better team. But I got to give it to Edmonton. They came in here and they made the big plays, and that's the bottom line. And unfortunately, good luck to them. It's unfortunate for us. It's the way it goes in sports.
Feels great. Feels great. This is what we were shooting for, and there was no doubt in our mind we were going to win. We just said we weren't going to give them anything. If they were going to get a touchdown, they're going to have to score it on offense, and they didn't. And I'm proud of our defense, offense, special teams, everybody.
So it is the Argonauts from the east against the Eskimos from the west. Edmonton lost big last year in the Grey Cup to Hamilton. The Argonauts were last in the Grey Cup in 1983. Same place, BC Place, where they beat the BC Lions. The teams met twice this year, Edmonton and Toronto. They split their 2 games, Toronto winning at home, Edmonton winning at home. They last met in the Grey Cup in 1982 in Toronto when the Warren Moon, Hugh Campbell era came to an end as Edmonton beat the Argonauts. Edmonton might be favored in this one by 3, 4, even 5 points, but the Argonauts will be happy to tell you Winnipeg was favored by more than that.